Soul Sacrifice is definitely a unique game. But is it an amazing game? Is it a good game? And is it a game that you should add to your collection? Let's go ahead and see if we can answer those questions with the review of Soul Sacrifice. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave some comments below. Clearly, there's a plethora of modes here, and quite honestly, I can't even pronounce half of them properly. You have Liberon, and of course, multiplayer, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and start what we see on screen here. Obviously, the multiplayer. Now, this will not be available to you out the gate, and it does require an online pass. You're going to have to purchase that or pick up the game. If you actually buy it, you'll get the online pass included. Otherwise, you can obviously download it or purchase it through the PSN. That being said, when it's unlocked later on in the game, you'll have the ability to play via ad hoc as well as network and all that good stuff. But really, the true essence of Soul Sacrifice is not in multiplayer, it is in single player itself. So in the story, you're going to get presented with a lot of customization options. You'll be able to actually customize your character, and we'll show that coming up to you in a minute. And as well as also, learn and equip new magic and spells that you'll be able to actually utilize and perform in game, which will help your character evolve. And you'll notice there's a leveling up system, but again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and start with the customization. You'll see you can customize everything pretty much from your gender to your head to what you're wearing, including your voice and all that. So you can really personalize it to your own needs and what you want. So let's go ahead and change the head on the character here. Back out, and that automatically saves it as soon as you backed out. Now you can obviously edit that at any time on the fly. Let's go ahead and look at the allies here for a second. Allies you'll actually come across in the game, characters that you'll be able to either sacrifice or heal, and some will choose to become your allies later on, and that's what you'll see there. You're also able to upgrade your sigil, which is basically the power from your arm, and giving you different unique abilities, and that's what these are. You'll also notice in the top corner here there is a leveling up system, obviously for your saving, which is level 4, that's the blue, and then obviously your sacrificing, which is your red. Of course, you also have your black rights, which is like a super mega power. It comes at the expense of using some of your character's health, in some instances like even burning your flesh, but they come at a high reward, high cost, high reward. Your sacrifices basically are your magic spells. Now you can equip a variety of them, and as you play the game, you'll unlock new ones. You can even do things like boost them, which is what you just saw there on the previous skill, and you can also fuse together different ones, creating your own magic or magic combined into, say, for example, a weapon. So this gives you a lot of customization option and pretty much keeps it endless for days. There's a lot to this game. Some people are saying they play 50 hours, even 120, but there's a downside of that as well. It's kind of repetitive. Now, you're playing this from the concept of a storybook, so you're going to be navigating through it and reliving quests. Now, basically, as for the premise to the story exactly, you are a character who is locked up in a prison, and in order to escape, you want to learn sorcery. So in order to do that, you read this book and you relive some of the quests, and we're going to demonstrate what those quests are for you. Any magic that you learn in the book, you'll also retain that in the real world, which will help you to fight basically your antagonist and escape from the game. Now you'll see touchscreen. There is front touch controls, but there is no rear touch controls. My only real quarrel when it comes to story in this game is the simple fact that you have to read the pages of the journal, and you can't really skip through them. So it basically reads at its own pace. You can skip ahead, but if you do that, you're going to miss some of the story. And if you sit there and listen, it takes a long time for them to read it, and you can't fast forward through it. It's a little bit of a tedious, annoying task. But all in all, it comes down to different elements like gameplay that really make up the heart and soul of Soul Sacrifice. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the gameplay itself. Now the gameplay is fluid. Casting magic, you can just basically hit the right trigger, and you'll see that you'll switch between 2 sets of a lot of magic, up to 6 items at a time, and you can just basically hot swap between them really quickly. It's on the fly. It feels flawless. You don't really notice any dilemmas or any problems, and the magic is quite customizable and unique to each of the characters. That being said, every positive comes with a negative. In this case, my negative for the gameplay is the simple repetitiveness. There is no real new monsters or villains. You're going to basically fight the same ones over and over, and you're always going to fight them in this arena-like setting. So for basically a chapter, you'll have to play through the same arena against the same villains over and over and over and over and over and over. And this will, of course, score you at the end, allowing you to gain, new magic and customize your character. But it can really get tedious and it can get repetitive. You'll see that once you destroy a villain, you'll be able to choose between sacrifice and, of course, healing them. If you heal them, you will gain a portion of health back. You'll see it in the top corner there. And, of course, if you sacrifice them, you will gain some additional magic. So you'll have to kind of use this strategically to how you're going to beat the enemies in the area. So the gameplay is fluid, but it is definitely also repetitive. But let's go ahead and look at the visuals. The visuals for Soul Sacrifice are not the best that we've seen on the Vita. The character models are good, the draw distance is decent, but the environmentals really do slack off. And that's kind of a problem we've always had with the Vita. I do like the attention to detail, for example, where you can interact and see destroy a pillar, and it will fall over exactly like that there, but that's not going to be every single element of the game. It's only certain areas that are strategically placed. Some of the 2D and 3D translations and textures don't actually come over properly. And that causes obviously some graphical hiccups and issues. It's not the worst game we've ever seen on the PS Vita, but it's definitely not the best either. In a lot of regards, I feel like this game had a lot of potential. It just really wasn't utilized at the end of the day. Now look, some people may disagree with me, and of course everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you like RPGs or you like games like Dynasty Warrior, you're probably going to like Soul Sacrifice. But if you don't like that repetitiveness and are looking for something new and intriguing every mission, every step of the way, Soul Sacrifice may not be for you at the end of the day. That doesn't mean that it's a bad game, it's just a matter of preference. And in my preference or my professional opinion, with the repetitiveness and some of the flaws that this game really has, I can't really go out on a limb here and say, from my personal opinion, that I recommend it to people. It lacks in a lot of areas that really should have been paid attention to. And of course, at the end of the mission, it's going to score you and tell you basically how you performed, what you did good. In my case, I actually happened to get a legendary sorceress rating, if I remember correctly here. Yeah, right there in the top corner. And then, of course, you're going to be able to actually win rewards, which are different magic. And of course, like I said, any of the magic you learn in the book itself, you will actually be able to translate over to outside of the book, which will eventually allow you to defeat or fight the antagonist of the game. And you'll see this is the journal here that I was talking about, where basically it reads back the story to you. And again, I talked about it being tedious and annoying because it reads at its own pace. So for the review of Soul Sacrifice, quantity is not always quality. We at themediapurchaseguide.com are going to have to give this a 6.7. Make sure to head over to themediapurchaseguide.com for all your reviews. Remember to like and, of course, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Peace, love. Remember to check out all the reviews daily.